again.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Merry Christmas, little teddy bear. So,
I just leave the teddy bear here the whole time.
Welcome back to Gentlemen Prefer Cinephiles 12 Days of Christmas.
I am so sorry, podcast listeners, if the audio is not as good. We're just taking the camera audio. So yeah.
Welcome to day 2.
Day dos. I forgot to say yesterday, but on my own YouTube channel, I did a behind the scenes of our 12 Days of Christmas workday. So if you would like to see that, it is up on my YouTube channel.
Vlogmas.
If you're watching on YouTube, I will put it in the description.
Vlogmas. So, for our Christmas day today, we watched Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence for the first time.
Mm-hmm. It made this bear really sad. Our new boy.
It's, I feel like this is gonna be kind of like the odd one out.
I think
so. Batch.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to kind of like, wow, this hoodie is like 3 times too big for me, and it just looks like I'm a big monster. I think it'll be an interesting discussion if it can be considered a Christmas movie or not.
I
don't think it's enough.
I think it is. Okay, well,
just because they say Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence 3 times doesn't mean it's a Christmas movie.
Primarily, it is
the gayest movie I've ever seen.
Yes, a war drama takes place in a prisoner of war camp. But honestly, I feel like the themes apply to Christmas pretty well. Originally, it was based on a book called The Seed and the Sower by Lawrence Vanderpost. They changed the title to Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, and placed a much higher emphasis on the way that this one Christmas in 1942 kind of bonds these 4 men together.
But I will say, I did have a critique of it as like a person who watches a ton of World War II movies from the time and about the time. It felt like World War II wasn't happening.
Yeah. I mean, like I said during the screening, I think that that's just sort of a thing that happens with...
That's what he said during the screening.
You know, a lot of movies that take place in prisoner of war camps, like The Great Escape and Bridge on the River Kwai and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, they tend to be really, like, bottled because, I mean, you never really see the war happening because they're so far away from it.
Well, I think even more than just, like, seeing footage of the war happening. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was a little slow for me, pacing wise, but overall pretty good.
The cast is amazing.
Yeah, everybody acts really well. There's some weird ADR.
Well, sure. I mean, there's like one blip where I think they changed what month he said.
Yeah.
In the ADR, so that was really the only thing that I caught.
Really?
Besides, I mean...
I caught some stuff with the Japanese.
Well, just like redubbing the stuff in English. Like, obviously they were having a little trouble. Some of the actors. Not all of them.
But, aside from that, let's go ahead. Since it's 12 days of Christmas, I don't think it's enough
let's talk about
with the Christmas themes.
In the context
because I
of Christmas.
think it's a little bit... I don't know. I didn't get... I mean, I don't want to, like, confine Christmas movies to be, like, feel-good, you know? Ooh. But it was lacking that element that I find very important in Christmas movies.
You know...
Because Christmas movies, for me, it's about good escapism, and maybe that's not the right terminology to use, but in that it teaches you about being kind to everybody in the world as a broader whole, while being, like, overall feel-good.
You know, I found it refreshing that it was such a downer, though. Because, like...
I just wanted to feel real sad.
No, I mean, like... It's not often you get a movie...
I mean, it's not Elf.
Look, it's better than Elf.
Not
better for Christmas, but it's a better movie.
I was talking in the feel-good element.
Well, sure. I mean, it doesn't always make you feel good.
That was my main argument as to why I don't think it's quite enough to say it's a Christmas movie.
But I think
what do you think, Charlie? Tell me.
I think that Christmas was so important to the story that it just felt right to me, because even when it was like the preamble to Christmas and after, it was really about people trying to like protect each other and connect with each other.
Well, how do you think it plays off of the Christmas imagery? Because that's a huge part of Christmas movies. So how do you see it playing off of that?
Well, because...
Or recontextualizing it.
Because there's no ability for the characters to have any Christmas iconography besides like song and stuff like that. The really key theme that comes through is the scene where Takeshi, who's playing Sergeant Hara, reveals on a drunken night, on Christmas night, he's very drunk, he is letting them go so they won't be executed, and he declares himself Father Christmas, and he says, "Tonight, I'm Father Christmas." And he keeps saying it over and over again. He's like, "I'm Father Christmas." He's like, they start laughing, and it's like this whole, I don't know, it's such a bizarre scene that just becomes so interesting because it's so like heartfelt. It makes it very universalist, and I found that the ending, I mean, besides like the close-up shot of him saying Merry Christmas over and over again, that's the freeze frame at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Just like what Mr. Lawrence is saying, Colonel Lawrence is saying about like, you know, you thought you were right, they think that they're right, and that's why they're gonna kill you, and it's like, but nobody is right, and it's like, it comes to a very humanist conclusion, and I think that a lot of that has to do with Nagisa Oshima, who directed and co-wrote this film. He's famous for In the Realm of the Senses, which is a very explicit sexual drama that was like super boundary pushing in the 70s. And this came out after that, 1983. And I think that he had a lot to say about like the connections between the people across the cultural lines. Because obviously he's critiquing Japanese culture in it. But at the same time, a lot of the British people aren't portrayed
great.
You know, they're very cruel and stuff like that in their own ways. And like, it's weird that by the end it's like Sergeant Hara and Lawrence are like friends, you know what I mean? Like they all sort of have this understanding that they're all just sort of people, and they kind of get to know each other through the experience. And I think that connection, to me, is why it actually kind of feels like an actual Christmas movie. And I mean, I guess to like counter-argument my argument, to compare it to other Christmas movies about war times. Now, this movie is World War I, not World War... This is World War II, correct? Yeah, so this movie is World War I that I'm about to discuss. It's called, like, Joyeux Noël, Merry Christmas. And it has Daniel Bruhl, Diane Kruger, and it's about the ceasefire that happened on Christmas Eve. And, like, I mean, looking at wartime films in the context of Christmas there, it's very heavy-handed, and it's very, like, pathos-driven, like, to the point where it feels unrealistic. Well, maybe the route for, like, a wartime Christmas movie is to be a little bit more, I guess, I don't want to say unhappy, but to be a bit more, like, realistic, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, I think that part of that comes from the fact that event in World War I is so mythologized, you know? Because, like... Yeah. I feel like a lot... Because, I mean, it's a real event. That a lot happened, of people know about... Like, I feel like a lot of people remember that as, like, a very, you know, powerful moment in history. And so it's almost like they felt obligated to, like, play it up even more. Well, it's, like, ripe for playing up. Like, the actual situation is, like... The actual situation is amazing, but, like, just that kind of, like, scenario you would... It's so, like... It's a real situation that happened, but it's such an unrealistic situation that it's easy to, like, play it up, you know? Yeah. So, like, taking, like, heavy realism with Christmas movies, like, perhaps it's a better direction to go, but yeah. Yeah. Well, it's also really interesting, too, because does the filmmaker celebrate Christmas? Nagisa Oshima? Yeah. Do you know if he does? I have no idea if he does or not. So that'd be interesting to know. I've just seen 2 of his movies at this point. I have a lot of respect for him. I love how he plays with color. Oh my god, the
It's
shots.
just beautiful. The
The
color
shots
was
were
really
so
good. Yeah.
amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
The acting was great. You had.
There was some weird like flashback sequences that I didn't really like that much. I didn't really think it gave me any. It didn't give me much.
I liked it. I felt like it's weird to introduce flashbacks that late into the movie.
Yeah.
But I think that what they showed me was important to understanding David Bowie's character.
Okay. I just like how you phrase that.
Jack Selliers.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick.
David Bowie was.
Jack be a gay boy.
Jack was 10 out of 10. David Bowie 10 out of 10 acting.
I think it was the best performance I've seen from David Bowie.
Tom Conti 10 out of 10 performance. He played Mr. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Well,
I was a little bit like.
I thought he was great.
I think with him, it just the whole time it felt like he was really acting.
Yeah. Yes.
Which isn't negative. It just took me out of it.
Yeah.
He's like reacting, and he's just like.
Takeshi was awesome.
He was really good, yeah. All the Japanese actors.
The real breakout star, I think, Ryuichi Sakamoto plays the captain who runs the camp. And he's so good.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
The shot they have on him after he first sees David Bowie, and it's just like that slow dolly
He
in.
plays repressed man really well.
There's a lot of themes about like homosexuality in the movie, actually, which is like really interesting to me. It just
that was pretty much what the movie was about.
Yeah, it just goes to show that Nagisa Oshima is just like constantly trying to break the boundaries of what you can show sexually on screen, I guess. But do you have any final thoughts on this as a Christmas cap off?
I think I wrapped up my thoughts pretty well.
I said my points perfectly. Thank you.
Well, I said everything I meant to say, so I mean.
You could just reiterate we're ending the episode right now.
I'm like really tired.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, I did good.
No, I'm done. Finish her up.
I talk good. I finished.
Yeah,
I gave it 3 stars.
If you're into hard watches and you're an art house.
Oh, there's a lot of heavy violence.
Yeah.
So just be warned. Everyone's committing seppuku left and right.
Heavy stuff. If you're into like really art housey shit and you're like a pretentious person like me or Erynn, then you might enjoy watching this instead of the more traditional Christmas fare. But honestly, I can't imagine anybody else enjoying watching this at Christmas besides me.
Well, and I think it's a good to balance out because like just to give you guys an idea, we're going full in on like Christmas, you know, like pretty much the rest of our movies are pretty like heavy Christmas movies.
Is pretty much this and Die Hard are the ones that aren't,
or that are kind of like non-traditional Christmas movies. Like Krampus is kind of, but it's still super coded Christmas with the iconography.
I mean the whole like the central message is a very Christmassy story. From top to bottom.
Yeah. But what do you guys think? Have you seen Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence? Do you think it's a Christmas movie? Do you watch it every Christmas?
Do you want to be kissed by David Bowie? I know I do.
I don't.
His gross corpse face. Remember when you told me when he died and I was like crying on the toilet? I remember that. I was at my parents' house. I remember exactly where I was.
Are we leaving this in the...
Oh yeah.
Was I the one who told you David Bowie died?
Yeah, I think you texted me.
I was also the one who told you Carrie Fisher died. I'm just the bearer of bad news.
You texted me while I was on the toilet in my parents' house, and I was just like, oh my god.
It was like, yo, they iced him.
Well, I always wanted to meet him, and then I was like, oh my god.
I just sent Charlie the Vine that was like, oh my fucking god, he fucking dead. I'm so sorry. Don't be crying. Are you crying?
So next,
are you crying?
No. So next episode we will be talking about the Ron Howard's
the Grinch.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas, followed by numerous others.
Followed by
We're not gonna list them all off. Tune in next time to see what the next one after is.
See you tomorrow. Just to say, no other Chris's episode is going to come out this late.
That we had to do this one late because we're literally doing this right now tonight.
Yes.
Midnight as we speak.
It's actually 11:30, but we're going to get it up by midnight.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody!
Bye.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
These are sleigh bells.
Lawrence,